So this year we're gonna have a chocolate pie on Thanksgiving, so I wanted to go ahead and get started with it. Now, my mom always made one, and I remember I had uncles and aunts that just loved her chocolate pie. Never got hers, but I think I've gotten pretty close, and then I'll make a really nice meringue over it. So I start with a pre-made crust that I've let get room temperature, and then I'm gonna roll it out gently. You don't wanna pull or press, you just wanna kind of move and position, and it should fit a little looser. If it doesn't, you can kind of reposition a little bit. So we're gonna continue, just kind of I like to kind of crimp mine a little. Some people like theirs folded real pretty. If you use a homemade one, you might be able to get it a little longer where you could do that. So this is just kind of what I do. You might do it different, but this is how I do it. So then next I'm gonna put some parchment paper in because we're gonna blind bake this. So we want to blind bake it because we just want it to do really well with the chocolate filling. So we're going to go ahead, and I don't have any pie weights, but what I do have is some pinto beans. I've got plenty in there, so you won't be able to use these again, but you can always save them to be your pie weights next time. So you evenly distribute it, just like that. So then I'm going to just sit this on a baking tray, and I'm gonna go pop it in the oven on 375 for about 15 to 18 minutes. So the ingredients for the next part is our chocolate part of the pie, and so it's gonna be some eggs, salt, vanilla extract, cocoa and semi-sweet chocolate chips, milk, flour, and sugar. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and separate these eggs. Now, am I nervous that I'm on camera and you're watching me? Yeah, I am. Am I good at it? Normally, not really. I'm not that great at it, but I do it because you gotta. We don't want any yolk in here. We just want the whites in this one. And then here's our last one. We did a total of 4. You only got to see me do 2. And then I'm over the shyness of doing this on camera. Look at me. I did it. It's hard though, y'all. It's hard. All right. It's time for the pie to come out. So we blind baked this crust and it is ready to go. We're gonna let it cool off. So we're gonna put together our ingredients in our pan. So we've got our 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/3 cup of flour, 1/4 cup of the semi-chocolate chips, 1/4 cup of cocoa. We're just gonna take a pinch of salt, drop that in there, and then we're going to go ahead with our new bottle. There we go. We're gonna put that in there. And then our 2 1/3 cup of milk. We're gonna get it on medium low, and we just wanna kind of get it slowly cooking. We're gonna keep stirring it and everything so that we don't, mix all this up, so that we don't have any burning, and we just want it to come out just right. Okay, so it's getting pretty thick and it started to boil a little, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour about 1/2 of it in here and quickly begin to whisk these yolks so we can mix them in. We wanna do this so it doesn't burn them up and turn them into scrambled eggs. So then we'll pour it back in. We're gonna make sure all this is really incorporated and get it back to boil in a minute, and then we're gonna put it over to the side and get started on our meringue. So now we're gonna add our cream of tartar and our egg whites from earlier. And we put the whisk attachment, and make sure to get that guy sitting up there higher so it can reach. Put all the egg whites on in there. And then we're gonna put 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. So we spilled some. There we go. And we're gonna put it on medium speed. And we're gonna keep doing this until soft peaks form. So while it's going, you'll notice that it gets kind of foamy before it starts getting the peaks. And so that's kind of how you know it's going in the right direction. Definitely stir up the cream of tartar before you start, because then you'll have to go back and stop and do it if you don't. So soft peaks have begun to form, so I'm going to drop in the sugar 1 teaspoon at a time. So we'll let it continue on. Looking good. So we want the chocolate to still be warm and kind of a little hot in here. We're going to pour it all in here. Okay, there we go. Get that even. So we're going to get this in here on this pie. We're going to kind of get it around on the sides here. Make sure it's spread it all around the sides. We don't want to run out on the sides. So they suggest doing the back of a spoon when I've always read recipes, and that's how I learned how to make a meringue, because my mom always made this stuff and I never asked her how because she did it so good and it was her thing. She loved cooking, and honestly, she didn't want anyone else doing it but her. And so I like that. We used to argue about it because I wanted to cook too. Started cooking Thanksgiving at 21. I did my first one. I think I was 21 still. No, 22. Sorry, I'd already turned 22. Anyway, so now we're gonna let's try to make it look cuter, because we might could have gone a little longer on that now that I'm looking at it. But you don't have to have super high meringue. Okay, so we have it here. We have just a light meringue on top because we don't want to get it too big for this particular pie. We're putting it in 375 for about 10 minutes, just till it starts to brown on top. Oh, it's ready. Let's check it out. It actually looks pretty good, y'all. So sometimes things that don't look perfect turn out to be just exactly perfect, right? Well, I hope y'all make your chocolate pie and you do as good, if not way better. I could have done something a little different. I got a little excited and I put the vanilla and the chocolate chips in. I should have waited and done that after I did all that egg yolk stuff, but it still worked out. It just, sometimes you might have a little chunkier pieces of chocolate, and so, but it'll still eat, it'll be all right. Well, thank you so much for watching.